Good evening. My name is Mr. Anwar Austin, and I'm performing a video blog for my advanced internet uses in education class. I'm not camera shy, but I was hesitant about putting together a video blog versus a blog itself. I prefer to allow words in a composition to express who I am as an individual. Nevertheless, I thought a video blog would be more enhancing. So I want to start by discussing a literacy narrative. That's a rhetorical mode that I use to teach first year writing. It's also the first chapter of the textbook that we use, I won't say that we used to use, it's the one that we use now. In regards to the literacy narrative, I like to tell stories, and I like for the students to get digital stories as well. So what I have some do, I have some read select chapters of the autobiography of Frederick Douglass. That's not the name of the book, but I just want to, reduce the name for time's sake. As they're reading Frederick Douglass, I want them to get an understanding of the will and determination for a slave to learn how to read and write. Frederick Douglass's narrative is one of the most profound descriptions of a quest for a man who wants to manifest the ideal American life. Although he knows that he's a biracial person in America in the 1800s, that does not relegate him to inferiority status. He recounts watching others of the white race, reading and writing, and how he saw that that was a level of liberation. Therefore, he would take food from his master's house and share it with the poor white kids. And he would ask the poor white kids in return that if you all teach me how to read, I'll continue to feed you all. So as they exchanged in that system, he learned how to read and write, and he learned how to create documents to free everyone. And learning that as a 7-year-old child, that taught me that education, if performed properly, could lead to a level of freedom that is unimaginable. So when I'm blogging in class, when I'm contributing in discussion board posts in the class that I take, I just want those who will watch this to understand that I've been exposed to Frederick Douglass since I was a 5-year-old child by my father. And when you read these narratives, they're not just literacy narratives, but these are people's stories. It motivates you to want more out of your education. Education is not merely obtaining a job and employment. As the great Dr. Amos Wilson said, and I want to read his quote, education should maintain the biological survival of a people, advance their interests, in order to defend their interests, values, social mores, culture, and enhance their quality of life. That's what I plan on doing as I continue to obtain multiple forms of education. So when we're reading Frederick Douglass in the classroom and I'm asking students to write, I ask them, by performing this rhetorical mode, in a positive perspective, where do you see yourself in 10 years? I want them to always focus on the positive, futuristic aspects of their lives. And I do incorporate Alvin Toffler in the class, who is a great technological and educational psychological individual. I just want them to get a diverse background of people who see the importance of education. And Alvin Toffler left us with one of the most critical quotes of the 20th century. The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Thank you for reading my V blog today. I just touched a little bit on the literacy narrative. I didn't really get into the components. It's just the literacy narrative. Basically, I shape it from a Frederick Douglass perspective. I want them to use their writings as a liberatory mechanism to have a happy life and to understand that you don't use education for a job. You use it to survive. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy my first vlog.